Are rearview camera systems about to break big just like automated transmissions did 20 years ago? I think so. To be honest, it's really a little too soon to tell, but it is clear that interest and the take rates for this new technology are on the upswing. I personally wouldn't be surprised if we flash forward 10 years from now to see that rearview camera systems are pretty commonplace in commercial vehicles. Hi everyone, I'm Jack Roberts. Welcome to another edition of Off Duty Driver, and today we're going to talk about the latest bit of safety technology taking the trucking industry by storm, and those are rear view camera systems. Now, for those of you that don't know anything about these systems, well, I'm going to tell you all about it. And of course, you can go on truckinginfo.com and check out some test drives I've done. We've got some video out there that can give you a clearer picture of what's going on. But in essence, these are camera systems that completely replace the conventional old school rear view mirrors you got mounted outside the cab of your truck. A company called Stone Ridge is the leading developer of these systems, and the technology is pretty damn impressive, I'm going to tell you. What you've got are high-resolution cameras, primarily rear-facing, that feed high-resolution images directly into a suite of in-cab display screens for your driver information edification. The technology is fairly new, so the systems are evolving, and there are several variations, but the basic setup right now is there are generally two vertical in-cab monitor screens mounted on the A-pillars inside the cab of your truck. So really, for a driver, there's not a whole lot of difference operationally in checking the monitor screens and checking a conventional mirror. With the Stone Ridge system, you look at the monitors inside the cab of the truck. With the conventional mirrors, you're obviously looking outside the cab. So again, not a whole lot of difference there. Now, Stone Ridge, we just finished the TMC show in Nashville a couple weeks ago, and Stone Ridge now is really driving toward a 360-degree video solution. They have what they call their 360-degree visibility truck on display out front of the Nashville Convention Center. We did a test drive in it. And so now there are cameras pretty much everywhere. This includes a new backup camera, and there are some downward-facing cameras. And so I think what we're going to see, based on what on the TMC demo truck, we'll eventually see the addition of a standard monitor mounted atop the dash in the center of the dashboard of the truck. And that would be for the backup camera as well as front views over the nose of the truck. Now, there's also going to be an option if you need to keep an eye on the cargo. You can mount cameras inside a trailer, for example. And again, that information would be displayed on the center mounted screen. So a lot going on there. It's really important for me to tell you guys right now that what's cool about this is that the driver gets the final say-so in how they get the video information displayed to them. They can program these screens any way they want to. You can segment off each monitor and get various displays per screen. The most common one I saw on each of the vertical A-pillar mounted screens, for example, you can section off the bottom portion of the screen. You've got downward facing cameras on either side of the cab. So you can see if there's a pedestrian, a cyclist, pets, fire hydrants on either side of the truck. Same thing goes over the nose. There's a low mounted camera below the hood line, below the driver's line of sight. You can configure the center screen, the bottom portion of that, so you can see anything that is directly under the nose in front of the bumper of the truck. Huge safety advantage for drivers right there. Really slick feature. And the cameras are dynamic as things change. If you shift the truck into reverse, for example, you get a rearward view on the center screen. If you're turning, you get a wider view around the side of the truck. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. So what's great about these camera systems? Why are people interested in them? What's wrong with just good old-fashioned mirrors, which, after all, don't have any electrical connections, and unless a rock or something hits them, the mirror's pretty much going to work all the time. Well, for starters, like I said, the camera system gives you full visibility all the way around the truck in a way that a mirror just can't do. They're great complements to any advanced safety systems you got spec'd on the truck. Blind spot detection warning systems immediately come to mind. The camera systems can also actively highlight and track vehicles around you. You can get a little green marker around a vehicle that's driving erratically. Maybe you got a guy that's got road rage, he's speeding, maybe it's a drunk driver, and you want to keep an eye on that vehicle so you can get away from them. so you can just know where they are, because we all know, when someone's going to cause problems on the road. Makes it a lot easier to track vehicles. The other cool thing is that the cameras automatically adjust to light conditions. You don't have to do anything about it. It's a lot like the way your smartphone, if you're taking a picture, if the light's low, the camera just automatically compensates for it, and you get a good picture. You don't have to get the phone out and fool with the settings. These camera systems do exactly the same thing. As the sun is setting or rising, even in the middle of the night, the camera system compensates for the light conditions and gives you a much clearer sight picture of what's going on around you. They work better in fog, smoke, rain, sleet, snow, even in the dead of night, black night, they work just great. They eliminate headlight glare from vehicles that are behind you. And let's be honest, when you look in a mirror at night, really all you're doing is tracking headlights behind you. You can't really see any more detail other than lights. The camera systems take the glare out of the pictures. You can see the vehicles. And this includes even some idiot that's got their high beams on behind you. Also cuts out a lot of ambient light from stores, storefronts, street lights, and things like that you get in the city. So you just get a much clearer and more accurate picture of what's going on all the way around the truck. Of course, these are modern camera systems, so they can record and capture video in real time. Gives you huge protection if you're involved in an accident. Can help protect you from these nuclear verdicts that are just destroying the trucking industry. The final point is fuel economy. Replacing old school big slab-sided mirrors outside the cab of your truck with sleek aerodynamic camera systems can give you a 3% fuel economy right out of the box. Now you go, oh, 3%, woo, big whoop. Well, 3% is a lot these days, particularly if you're a truck designer. If you're trying to squeeze some more aerodynamic efficiency out of a design, 3% is huge. OEM designers would kill to get 3% boost in fuel efficiency out of an aerodynamic design in their trucks today. So if you're running a small fleet, you're getting paid a fuel economy bonus, Rearview camera systems give you a huge leg up in terms of putting more money in your pocket. So that's a big boost right there. So are there trade-offs? Yeah, there are always trade-offs. There's trade-offs with anything. And the two you hear about the most are lack of a field of view on a flat monitor screen and an inability to pan when turning. Now, to be fair, mirrors aren't all that great either when it comes to depth of field. That's why you all have the script in your car mirror that says, objects in mirror may be closer than they appear. We've dealt with it all our lives. We're just used to it. We sort of mentally compensate for it. We don't think a lot about it. Now, to compensate with this problem, Stone Ridge has added color-coded distant markers on the monitor screens, red, yellow, and green. The further back something is, green, closer you're getting to it, yellow. When you're really close, red. And it helps you gauge car lengths when you're looking behind you, and comes down to footage when you're backing up to a dock. The inability to pan. Now that's unique to Class 8 tractor trailer drivers, because we all know you pull up to an intersection, you gotta check and see how the trailer is set up so you can understand how wide a turn you need to make. And what do we all do? We pan back and forth and look in the mirror so we can get an accurate sight view of what we need to do. The early Stone Ridge system did not compensate for that, and so I would be on test drives. They'd always have backup mirrors as a safety system, and so you would have to switch from the monitor screens to the rear view mirrors so you could make a tight turn. Stone Ridge listened to the feedback on that. HDT was one of the early reviewers to point this problem out, and they listened. And so now, whenever you start to articulate fifth wheel making a turn, the camera views on the side monitors automatically pan out, so you get a much clearer, wide-angle view of the turn you need to make, and it really works really well. There's an adjustment period when you go to from mirrors to cameras. On the early days on the test drives, like I said, the trucks would have both. They'd have mirrors and they'd have cameras. When I started out the drive, I would kind of default to the rear view mirrors because that's what we're all used to. But as I settled into the drive, I tended to start looking more and more at the monitors, just because you had a more accurate, clearer view of everything that was going on around you. And, after a while, it was natural and you really didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it. The information is just easier to access. So the Stone Ridge system is still very new. Like I said, interest is growing, appears to be growing rapidly. Right now, if you go buy a new Class 8 truck, a lot of the more aerodynamic models are offering them as an option. I know that the new Volvo VNL and VNR, they come as an option. The new Freightliner, the 5th generation Cascadia, they're offering them as an option, and they work great. Fleets are starting to look at them. Maverick KLLM are experimenting with them, and just yesterday, DB Schenker is a logistics fleet. They announced they're going to buy 20 new Volvo VNLs with the system to evaluate them and see how they work, get some driver feedback on them. So again, my sense is this is just really solid technology, and I think it's going to be a hit, just like AMTs were 20 years ago. When AMTs first came out, there was a lot of scoffing, reservations. People were like, they're not going to work. And it turned out those AMTs became accepted way faster than even the most optimistic industry observers ever thought they would. I think it's going to be the same thing with rear-view camera systems. The technology is ready. I think it's just a matter of time. The manufacturers making the case and proving that the hardware can stand up to trucking conditions out in the real world. So what do you think? Yay or nay on rear-view camera systems? We've got several test drive reports on truckinginfo.com if you want to get a little more information about them. Let us know what you think in the comments below. And until next time, I'm Jack Roberts, and this is Off Duty Driver. Hold them in the road.